Hi everybody, I'm Trin Johnson and welcome to Dust in My Eye. If you've been with me for longer than a year, you may remember last Christmas I painted snow with a sieve in a little scene with a little snowman in it. And I've discovered that it works well for other things too. So we're going to revisit the snowman and I'm going to show you the other ideas I had for painting with your sieve. So I'm going to start with the snowman that I made last year, very similar to that. And I'm starting with some indigo. And I want to lighten that up a little bit with some cobalt. This is not necessarily a night scene. I just would like to have some depth in my sky. So I think I will start by laying down some water and do it wet and wet. These are all going to be relatively simple. It's just enough to get my point across. I'm just going to stick that like that temporarily. Normally I do not put my brushes like that when they're wet, but while I'm doing this painting session, it will be more convenient. So I'm just dropping in some blue. Okay, let's let that dry. Try this brush while it's taking a minute here. Now, I took a piece of tissue and I balled it up to the size of the snowman. I'm just going to lift myself a snowman right here. A little bit of water. Sometimes it lifts just fine, and other times it doesn't quite want to pick it up to the point I'd like it to. The sun is going to be coming from over there, so the shadow will be on the right side of the snowman. So it's okay if that side is a little dark. But I do want white over here, so I'm just going to do some lifting with my brush. I also would like that a little more vague. Now, if I wanted it lifted more, I could use a magic eraser, and you just dampen it just like, and squeeze it out. And that does a nice job of lifting. Trying to be very gentle with this paper. Okay, I think that's good enough. All right, now, while he's drying, I'm going to work on the front here, and I want my blue again, but I want a nice dry brush, so I'm wetting it and then patting it dry on paper towel so I can get some nice dry brush. Like I said, his sun is going to come from over there, so I'm going to go ahead and get a little shadow. On that side of my snowman. Letting him dry. Now let's see if we can lift the moon out. Moon, sun. This one's the sun. Because my sky is blue and I'm trying to do a daytime. But the sun in winter isn't always really defined. So we're okay with it being a little fuzzy. Okay. Let's get some yellow on that sun. I need this little guy. Get a little orange. Get a little nose on him. Now I'm going to use a little Jane's Gray. His face is still a little wet, so his eyes are a little smeary, but that's okay. Let that dry a little bit. While that's drying, I'm going to mix up my white. This is gouache mixed with watercolor blending medium, I believe it is. I will put the link in the bottom of the video, but it just keeps it moist. So I'm going to add some water to it. Get it the right consistency for our snow. Define little snowman a little bit better. I'm going to give him a little top hat. Just have to put a little band on his hat, but we're going to wait for that to dry before we try and do that. In the meantime, let's paint our snow. So we're going to take our sieve, and I'm going to take the gouache and paint it on the sieve. I like to use a straw just because it gives me more control, and I'm going to blow. Trying not to put my head in the way. It's a little tricky. Okay, a little bit of adjustment. That one's kind of big. Go ahead and use that to lighten the front of his hat. I don't really want him on the sun, but just as easy to do that as it is to cover it up. This little guy is a couple big ones put together. Anyway, let me just get the glow on his face a little bit. So there you have it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I have to do his little band. I almost forgot. Let's get a nice green color. A little blue. Bluey green. There we go. if you don't like how big a blob is, you can lift it with your brush. You can also use the corner of a tissue to soak it up a little bit. Do just one more little. There we go. Okay, so let's peel him and move on to the next one. Okay. Set him aside. Give us a wipe here. And then we have this guy. Let me get him somewhere in the same vicinity. Well, I have a little reflection on my paper that not really sure. There, that helped. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is a night sky. So we're going to take the blue we had before. I'm going to add some indigo. And some neutral tint. And let's take our big brush again. Now it can get lighter towards the horizon. That's okay. Just trying to get a relatively even wash. Trying to leave some white at the bottom. Now again, we're going to pull out a spot for a moon. Keep saying that. The other one was a sun. This one's a moon. I'm going to make him a little bit bigger. I'm going to let that dry before I paint the moon in. So now let's take this blue color we have, and we're going to add some Aussie green gold, or not Aussie green gold, Aussie gold? Aussie red gold. I think it's Aussie red gold. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. There we go. And I'm going to add some turquoise color, some cobalt turquoise to it. Add a little cobalt to it. I'd like it a little bluer, so maybe some phthalo blue. That's nice. And that's what's going to come down here. Just gonna make some evergreens. Just a little indigo. Now I'm going to try some Naples yellow. Our moon. I'll let her dry. While that's doing that, we're going to take, I have Cremer light gold, pale gold. You could use any glimmery, shimmery paint you have. I'm going to get it a nice consistency. The white out of it. All right, and then we're going to blow. Now I got a little more than I want up here. I'm going to try patting. I don't really want it all over the trees, but I don't mind it a little bit on the side. It's spattered on the trees, you lose the illusion, which you could have covered that. I should have covered that, but I didn't. A little more than I want. It's easier to do if you can get your head right over it, but I was trying not to put my head right over it, so I think you'll have better luck if you're not trying to videotape it while you're doing it. Videotape it. Record it. There's no actual tape involved, is there? There we go. So you can see it can use it for stars, you can use it for snow. And I have one more idea. Let me just... Very hard to see that because it's so dark. I am working on bead paper, 100% cotton, just FYI. Here's a close-up of the paint, how it shimmers. Okay, and now last but not least, hang on and let me clean this up a little bit. that up a little bit too. Cleans up pretty easy if you do it right away. If you wait, you're going to have a pain trying to get it out of there. Although watercolor and gouache are both pretty water soluble, so not too tricky. All right, let's get our third one up here. Now, we're going to go more into our current season of a late autumn. And I have a mixture here of Payne's Gray and a little cobalt, I believe. I'm going to get myself a nice November sky. Like I said before, it gets lighter at the horizon. Now I'm going to take some Aussie Red Gold. There we go. So I have to not think about it. And I'm going to just get in a line of trees. Late fall in that dirty gold color. Everything's just a little less vibrant than it was just a few weeks ago. Bring that color down with a little bit of the cobalt turquoise. More cobalt turquoise. I just want to lay some foreground in because that will help things show up later in our painting. If it's white, it's not going to pop as much. Now we want that to dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to mix a new color. So I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to get some Jane's Gray. And a little neutral tint, which makes it a little warmer because Jane's Gray is a bluish, cooler gray. And neutral tint is got more of a warm color. Now I want that to be dry. Of course, just wanting it to be dry doesn't make it dry. Yeah, I think I'm going to mute you and hit it with a hairdryer. Okay. Now, I want to lift along the edge of this. If it's a little uneven, that's perfect. I'm just wetting my brush. Don't want too wet. Trying to lift some of the pigment. I'm going to try flat brush, not a frat brush. Sometimes that works better for this. Doing okay. I just wish I could get it to lighten a little bit more on this one. I think that was the first one I put down, and maybe the pigment was the strongest in it. I don't know why it's being more stubborn. But that's close enough. So now I have a small brush for the little branches. Skinny parts. Give some shapes to the trees in the background. Be a little grass along the base of the tree. And now I'm going to mix some Aussie Red Gold, I'm going to add a little bit of purple to it because again, it's not bright fall, it's deep fall. So I want a little more depth in my gold mix. And we are going to take this and we are going to put it on our sieve. Let's try that. It's a little more watery than I usually do. Well, let's see. I'd like a little bit more. Use a little bit brighter this time, just for a change of pace. And just for the final little bits on this, which you can do before you do the leaves, is the birch bark. And that's pretty simple and gives you a very neat way of doing fall leaves. Late fall leaves, when they're smaller, more crinkly, darker, not big chunks of them on the trees. They're all a little brown. They might stay there all winter. There. Let's get them all up here. You can see them. So we have our snow, we have our stars, and we have our fall leaves. All fun ways to use this kitchen tool in our painting. So if you got anything out of this video or you enjoyed it in any way, I would love it if you hit the like button. And if you want to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of future videos, hit the cute little bell. And if you want to help support my cause here, my artistic journey, you can always buy me a cup of coffee. There's a link in my description. And please check out my Etsy shop where I have prints of my artwork, some originals, and cute little monsters for sale, among a lot of other little things. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching.